Before the story begins, I'd like to ask you to subscribe and like. This will help the channel grow. The Orchard Heist, a detective mystery story. Detective Rowan Elbridge was not the type who expected to be woken up at 3 in the morning to investigate a robbery at a fruit orchard. Murderers, missing persons, corporate fraud, sure. But stolen apples? That was a first. Yet the voice on the phone had been trembling. "Detective, it's bad," said Emma Hargrove, owner of Hargrove's Moonlight Orchard, the most famous fruit farm in the county. "It's not just some local kids climbing the fence. You need to see this." Rowan arrived 20 minutes later, boots crunching over dew-covered grass. The orchard stretched like a silver forest under the moon, thousands of apple trees glowing softly in the night mist. But the beauty ended there. At the heart of the field, floodlights illuminated the scene of the crime. And it was no ordinary theft. Entire sections of trees were stripped bare, not harvested, but violently torn apart. Branches snapped, trunks gouged, fruit missing in precise patterns, as if cut out by machinery. Strange tire tracks formed looping arcs across the soil, but none matched any known farm vehicle. A humming scent lingered, metallic and sweet, unlike anything naturally occurring. Emma met Rowan with panic in her eyes. 40 trees destroyed," she whispered. "Hundreds of apples gone. And look!" She handed him a small object found beneath one of the ruined trees. A circular metal disc, no bigger than a coin. Smooth, seamless. But etched on its surface was a symbol, a crescent shape intersecting with a triangle. Rowan frowned. "This wasn't left by kids." Emma nodded. "There's more." She led him toward the old barn. The door was hanging open, lock sliced clean through. Inside, crates of the orchard's prized Silverheart apples, a rare hybrid worth a fortune to culinary collectors, were gone. But the strangest discovery was yet to come. The barn's far wall was scorched, as if something extremely hot had hovered inches above it. On the ground lay a single apple, untouched except for a series of tiny perforations forming a perfect circular pattern. "Detective," Emma said shakily, "are we dealing with a machine?" Rowan examined the perforations. "No," he murmured. "A machine wouldn't leave tracks that spiral." And indeed, the path weaving through the orchard wasn't random. It was deliberate, curved, intentional. A spiral. Someone, or something, had danced through the orchard that night. And it wasn't finished. At dawn, the investigative team arrived with drones, luminol kits, and soil analysis equipment. But Rowan preferred the ground-level approach. He crouched beside the spiral-shaped track again. Up close, it was even stranger. The marks weren't tire treads at all. They were more like smooth compression curves, as if something round and heavy had rolled across the field without leaving a single groove. Yet each rotation showed slight variance, like the imprint of a moving creature rather than a perfectly engineered wheel. "Any ideas what made this?" Emma asked anxiously. "Nothing I've ever seen," Rowan replied. "And that's the unsettling part." They followed the spiral path across the orchard. It twisted between trees with impossible precision, never colliding, never brushing against a branch. It ended behind the storage shed, abruptly, without signs of departure. But the shed hid something unexpected. Inside lay a pile of discarded apple cores, dozens of them, arranged in a deliberate pattern. A circle with 3 lines radiating outward. The crescent triangle symbol again. Rowan photographed it, brow furrowed. "Whoever did this wasn't just stealing fruit," he said. "They were leaving a message." As he examined the ground beneath the cores, his hand brushed something metallic. He uncovered a second disc. This one, however, vibrated faintly, still warm. He slipped it into an evidence bag. At that moment, Officer Delaney called from behind the shed. "Detective, you better see this." On the opposite hill, Near the orchard's boundary fence lay something large covered by a red tarp. Rowan approached cautiously. Emma's breath hitched. It was the orchard's delivery truck. Or what was left of it. The entire hood had been peeled open like a tin can. The engine was gone, not removed, not disassembled, just missing, as if extracted in a single clean pull. No wires torn, no bolts left behind. A single Silverheart apple sat on the driver's seat, perfectly polished. Rowan stared at the truck, then at the spiral tracks. "This wasn't theft," he said finally. Emma swallowed. "Then what was it?" "A test." That evening, Rowan returned to the orchard alone. Something about the tracks, the symbols, the precision, it all felt like choreography. As if the perpetrator had rehearsed, learned the terrain, mapped every tree. And the orchard itself seemed to remember. He sat by the barn as darkness deepened. The air was quiet, but not empty. Every rustle of leaves, every distant hoot of an owl, every creak of branches carried a strange tension, as if the orchard was holding its breath. Around midnight, he heard a faint humming, the same metallic sweetness he'd smelled earlier. Rowan stood. "Come on," he muttered. "Show yourself." The humming intensified. It wasn't coming from a direction. It was everywhere, vibrating through the ground. Then the trees shifted. Branches swayed, though there was no wind. Apples quivered on stems. Leaves trembled as if something large were brushing through them. Fast. Rowan clicked on his flashlight. A blur moved between the trees. Too tall for an animal. Too smooth for a person. Too silent for machinery. He followed it deeper into the orchard. His light caught glimpses. A glint of metal, a curving shadow, a shifting silhouette. The humming grew louder until it vibrated in his skull. Suddenly the shape stopped. Rowan froze. At the center of the orchard clearing stood a towering figure, at least 8 feet tall, draped in some kind of metallic cloak, its surface rippling like liquid steel. Its head was smooth, featureless, but its chest bore the crescent and triangle symbol glowing faintly. The creature turned toward him. The humming became a melodic resonance, like a strange mechanical purr. "Are you collecting?" Rowan whispered without thinking. The figure raised an arm. Branches behind him snapped, not violently, but neatly, as if pruned. Apples detached from trees and floated gently toward the creature, drawn by unseen force. But then something unexpected happened. The creature dropped the apples. It tilted its head, studying Rowan. Then it tapped its own chest, the glowing symbol, twice, as if trying to communicate. Rowan swallowed hard. "What do you want?" he asked. The creature extended its hand. A small metallic disc materialized in its palm, identical to the ones Rowan had found. And then it projected an image. Right into the air between them. A map. A blueprint. A diagram of the orchard, with 2 locations circled in red. The orchard was being targeted again. And soon. Rowan studied the holographic projection as the creature held its hand out, palm shimmering with light. The 2 red circle locations on the orchard map glowed like twin beacons. One marked the fermentation cellar, where Emma produced her renowned Silverheart cider. The other circled the root nursery, where young trees were grown in controlled soil beds. "Why these?" Rowan asked aloud. The creature did not speak. Instead, it lowered its hand, and the projection dissipated into a mist of tiny metallic dust flecks. The creature then pointed to the ground, more specifically, to the spiral track beneath their feet. A message. A pattern. A warning. But before Rowan could decode it, the creature turned toward the forest edge. A sharp, distant whistle pierced the night, not natural, not human. The creature stiffened, then vanished into the orchard with terrifying speed, leaving the air quivering behind it. Rowan ran after it, but by the time he reached the boundary fence, The creature had dissolved into the shadows. "Great," he muttered. "My witness just outran physics." He returned to Emma's farmhouse to show her what he'd seen. She paled at the mention of the creature, then even more when Rowan explained the map. "The cellar and the nursery?" she said. "Why those two?" "Not sure," Rowan replied. "But there's a pattern here. You produce more than apples. You produce hybrids, cider extracts, rare crops. Someone is after something specific." Emma sat thinking. "Detective, there is something. A new hybrid I've been testing. Not released yet." Rowan raised a brow. "Go on." "It's called Illumina Apple, a strain capable of storing light energy within its skin. Completely natural, but unusual. It glows faintly at dusk." Rowan blinked. "Emma, that sounds like something someone would kill for." She nodded slowly. "Exactly why I kept it secret." Before Rowan could respond, the farmhouse lights flickered. The ground trembled. And outside, an eerie metallic hum grew louder, approaching fast. Rowan grabbed his flashlight. "They're here," he said. And this time, they weren't alone. Rowan and Emma rushed outside as the humming intensified. But instead of the single creature he'd encountered before, 3 metallic figures strode across the orchard, their bodies flowing with liquid motion like machines woven from mercury. They moved with purpose, not toward the trees, but toward the fermentation cellar. "Why the cellar?" Emma whispered. Rowan answered without taking his eyes off the figures. "They're not harvesting fruit tonight. They're after something stored." He motioned Emma to stay back and crept toward the cellar's stone entrance. The 3 figures converged, placing their hands on the metal doors. In unison, they emitted a harmonic vibration that made the hinges melt like wax. Rowan winced as the resonance rippled through his bones. Inside the cellar, crates of cider barrels glowed faintly, reflecting off the metallic bodies of the intruders. One of the figures approached a large wooden barrel marked Lumina. "Do not open," Emma gasped. "They know exactly what they're taking." Rowan stepped forward. "Not tonight, you don't." The creature turned, raising an arm. A wave of pressure slammed into Rowan, knocking him backward but not enough to drop him. He gritted his teeth and pushed forward again. "I don't know what you want with glowing apples, but this orchard isn't yours." The lead creature paused. Then, unlike the others, it stepped aside. Rowan froze. This was the one he had encountered before, the orchard watcher. It projected a small hologram again, the glowing symbol, then an image of the Lumina apple itself, pulsing brightly. Then the creature showed something startling, a dying tree. Its branches brittle, its leaves colorless, its fruit shriveled. And then, the tree restored, glowing with light drawn from a Lumina apple. Emma's breath caught. They want to heal something." Rowan narrowed his eyes. "Or power something." The creatures retrieved a smaller crate of Lumina samples and stepped back toward the orchard. But before leaving, the watcher touched Rowan's chest gently, almost a thank you, and projected one final symbol. A warning symbol. A fracture. A crack spreading through a circle. Rowan understood. "Something worse is coming, isn't it?" he whispered. The creatures vanished into the night. By dawn the next day, the orchard was quiet again. Too quiet. Rowan walked the field with Emma, both visibly exhausted. The creatures hadn't taken all the Lumina apples, only a few samples. But their message, whatever it was, weighed heavily on Rowan's mind. He replayed the final symbol they'd shown him, the circle with the spreading crack. A fracture. Something breaking. Something unstable. Emma pointed at the barn wall. "Detective, look!" A new symbol had been burned into the wood during the night. The same fracture icon, but beneath it, written in a spiraling script neither of them recognized, was a single word. "Soon!" Rowan swallowed. They're warning us, Emma whispered. About what? Rowan took a few steps back, staring at the symbol. The crack. The circle. The orchard. No, he said slowly. Not warning us, warning someone else. Someone who will come looking for the Lumina apples soon. As the sun rose, a soft glow shimmered through the orchard. The Lumina trees pulsed faintly, their branches almost responding. Rowan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. This isn't over. The orchard isn't being robbed. It's being scouted. Prepared? Emma looked at him anxiously. Detective, what do we do now? Rowan looked out over the shimmering trees. Now? He exhaled. Now we prepare for whoever, or whatever, comes next. In the distance, deep in the woods, a faint metallic hum echoed. And Rowan realized the orchard heist had never been about apples. It was a prelude,